and welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and I am so glad that you joined us today. We always want to start by thanking our sponsors, so thank you to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges, feel free to reach out to any one of their trained professionals. They are bilingual, nationwide, and waiting for your call. Feel free to reach them at 631-714-4822. And now that we got that out of the way, we are in studio today with a friend of mine, amazing guy, Bob Policastro from Angela's house. How are you?
Hi, Rhonda. How you doing?
I am so happy to see your face because you're just like one of those great, like you're a gem.
Oh, thank you.
You're a gem. So for those that are listening that are not familiar with Angela's house, and I almost want to say it's a sin if people don't know who you are and what you do for the community, tell us a little bit about Angela's house and really the foundation and where it came from.
Sure. Well, it's amazing. My journey started 34 years ago. We started our nonprofit 31 years ago. And it was all based upon my daughter having a major medical episode at birth, leaving her incredibly medically frail, and resources just weren't there to assist her. She was stuck in local hospital, and when time came where social work was like, okay, what are you going to do? And the closest place that we can extend her care was actually in Connecticut. So I've been working ever since to help other parents. It's amazing, an amazing spiritual journey. We've been lucky to create 3 specialized homes with 24-hour nursing, beautiful home environments, like home away from home with 24-hour nursing. It's wonderful. And then each year we help over 700 children, just even in our backyard, right here in our own community, half of which need very extended resources on an ongoing basis, and many times it's year after year. So it's been wonderful, and I'm glad to be here and see you, and you always doing so much for the community, and I always appreciate that.
And we try, and we've been working together for a long time, and obviously I'm a big supporter of Angela's house as well as Angela's home store.
Yeah, we realized, especially the last 12 years, government funding in New York State has been really grossly underfunding a lot of the disability services. And meeting with the board, and we were trying to figure out, how can we find another means? And we created the Angela's House home store. It's a way to have building supplies, furniture, kitchens, bathrooms, retail returns. I mean, we have literally everything for the home.
Let me just preference that I don't just advocate for the home store, but as you know, I religiously shop at the home store. And I know we're laughing. So for those that are listening, a lot of you know that I own several homes, and I've literally have stripped down to the bones several of the houses that my husband and I have bought to flip, where I've walked into your facility and you are sitting there with full kitchens, that beautiful kitchens that came out of showrooms and houses in the Hamptons, and people who just because decided that they wanted to renovate. You have these great contractors that take time and care in removing the cabinetry and removing these fixtures so that they can be donated to you, so that people like me can buy them at a discount, but it's a win-win for everybody. And the home store is located in Medford.
2052 Route 112, Medford. And what's also amazing is, with some of the big construction projects, they'll order a certain amount of bathrooms and then have 10%, 20% left over, and they don't have any place for it. They don't need it anymore.
And they don't want to store it.
So they send it to us. So, we get things that's still in boxes.
And I'm laughing because I think it was about 2 weeks ago I called you and I said, I know you have walk-in medical tubs. It's just one of those things. As you know, I do a lot of work for the community, and somebody reached out. There was a woman that had a heart attack, and she was very frail, only had a stand-up shower, did not have the capacity to bathe on her own, and she was told to go get a medical grade tub. And of course, she couldn't afford it. So we fundraised for it. And sure enough, I stopped by and I called you up, Bob. I know you have these tubs. So you just never know what you're going to find and what will be available to somebody else.
And that's you, Rhonda. I mean, to get that phone call, it wasn't a surprise because that's how we work together. And, I called the store manager. He says, listen, Rhonda's coming. Let's see, give her a great discount.
Just one of those things.
Because we do want to do a lot for the community.
Yeah.
I mean, we understand that. I mean, we have free medical supplies and equipment that people bring to the store and they donate it. And we don't charge for that. I mean, it's very important because a lot of people, it's very expensive to get some of this equipment.
And not covered through medical.
Right.
Right. So you think about when somebody has been medically diagnosed, the trauma and the financial burden that it's placed on them. And now being told that we're sorry, you need this to walk, right? Or you need a wheelchair. And they just don't have the financial capability to do that with everything else going on. Organizations like yours are so important. Tell us, I know you have a handful of things going on and you're always fundraising. Give us some ideas about what you're working on and how our community can really support you and even maybe do a fundraiser on your behalf, let you be the benefactor.
I would say the number one thing that's been going on, I mentioned before about 12 years, the New York State desperately underfunding all disability services. And that includes kids from, birth to 3 on up to seniors. And it's pretty tragic because no system can survive without having any kind of increases. And when you in the middle of that, when you have minimum wage changes, it's killing the intellectual and developmental disabilities community and many of them. So I've been doing enormous amounts of advocating in Albany and a lot of the agencies on Long Island, New York City, and we've had 2 rallies. People listening. And I'm hoping right now it's down to the wire between the governor and the majority leader of the Senate and the Assembly. So if you follow my posts, both personally on Bob Policastro or also Facebook on Angela's House, we do a lot of information there, both for the advocacy and then the fundraisers. This coming Saturday, 12 o'clock, we have a hoedown out east. Come to our website, angelashouse.org. And on the 27th, we have another one, and that's at Appliance World. They have these active kitchens. And
talked about that.
And for me, everything is always food. That's how I always brought up. So this is really just going to be a matter of networking and fun and being able to meet people. But, our efforts... you could always go to our website to please follow us. Yes, we're always fundraising. The difficulties that we run into, we try to stay ahead of the needs. We talked about equipment, supplies, and then resources. We don't want a parent to be in need of something and their private insurance saying no, and then some of the specialty Medicaid or state systems say no. And I don't want to say no to that family.
No.
It's just wrong. It really is. I mean, the system that's created now saves millions of dollars by keeping kids out of hospitals and nursing homes that it was just 30 years ago. So when these things when a family needs them and the kid needs to, it's some of the basic things you could possibly imagine. Think of somebody who don't have an adaptive van and they can't get their wheelchair in. So what we help with, they won't do 2 mobility things such as a stroller and a wheelchair. So we'll help with some of the adaptive strollers. They could fold, go in any car. Or a kid that has a pulse oximeter in their home that could plug in. Well, what about when that kid wants to go into the community and needs a portable pulse oximeter? And it's unbelievable that people would say no.
It just doesn't make sense.
We want to be the one to say yes, and that's why we fundraise. We call them everyday wishes.
I love it. So once again, we are in studio today talking to Bob Policastro. I desperately urge you to please follow his social media. If you have the means to make a donation, visit their website, learn a little bit more about what amazing people and organizations are doing right here in our backyard. Until next time, stay tuned for our next guest.